Yes guys, how is everybody? Today we are reacting to our Premier League Week 4 predictions. We've not had we've not had a good week really at all in hindsight, I don't think. We are going to get straight into it, and as always we're going to start with a little recap of what we predicted. So we went Luton West Ham on the Friday night game. We actually said a 3-0 West Ham win. For Sheffield United Everton, we predicted a 1-0 Sheffield United win, with Sheffield United being at home against Everton. Both teams obviously going to be struggling this year, I think. And then we went for Brentford v Bournemouth. We actually said 2-0 Brentford win. Again, Brentford at home, scoring goals. Burnley vs Spurs, we said a 2-0 Spurs win. Obviously Spurs are unbelievable this season. We are going to actually have to talk a lot of wonders about Spurs when we come on to their result. Next up was Chelsea Forest, and we said a 2-1 Chelsea win. Thought they'd struggle. Thought they had a bit more cutting edge than Forest, but Forest would have made it hard for them. And then we had Man City Fulham. Similar, City would have always had too much firepower, but I thought Fulham would have put up a fight. Again, we'll get into that one. Brighton Newcastle, we said 2-1 Brighton. Thought that was a fair result prediction. Both teams very good. Palace Wolves said 2-0 Palace. Again, in my opinion, I thought that was a fair prediction. Liverpool Villa, I don't really want to talk about this one, but we're going to have to. I said 2-2. Maybe my heart got above my head. And then Arsenal United, we predicted a 1-0 Arsenal win. And the final results, we've got games, my prediction, actual result, and points. The games, my predictions are there. And here are the results. I'm going to get into it. Luton West Ham, we predicted 3-0. It ended 2-1 West Ham. Not the worst. I think Luton at home will be a tough place to go to, which I'm sure I did previously mention in the video predicting them. But I just thought West Ham looks so good this year. But in the Premier League, it does not matter how you get results as long as you do. And then we have Sheffield United Everton. I said 1-0 Sheffield. Ended 2-2. So I think I actually underestimated both teams' defences, to be honest with you. I thought Sheffield at home would have been enough to have edged it. It's not a bad result considering the state of Everton on the road at Sheffield United. But Everton do really need to pick up if they are going to stay up, in my opinion. Next up we have Brentford Bournemouth. I said 2-0 Brentford, which I thought was fair. Brentford at home scoring goals against Bournemouth side. And it ended 2-2. Obviously I underestimated Bournemouth, but I am quite surprised that Brentford didn't see this through. And then coming up, this is a big game. Burnley Spurs. We said 2-0 Spurs and it ended 5-2 Spurs. Tell you what, whatever Ange is feeding these Spurs players, Jesus, they are different gravy. And I'm going to go on record to say this, but I don't believe that there is any other team in this league that can challenge Man City at the minute. Don't be wrong, I think Spurs will tire out, you know. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they get found out and things like that. How Ange reacts. But I think Maddison's come in and done unbelievable for them. For a start, I think Son's scoring goals. They're not struggling without Kane like I would have thought they would have. Yeah, they're just playing really good football, really good pressing. You know, I could sit here and speak brilliant words about them for ages, but we don't have that long shot, unfortunately. And then we move on to Chelsea Forest. Now, this one is a howler for you Chelsea fans. You spent £1 billion. I'm sorry to say this, Chelsea fans, but it's not good enough. If you guys don't finish in... if we're going to be honest, if you lot don't win the league, it's a disappointment with the money that's been spent. But, nevertheless, if you guys don't finish in the Champions League spots, that is a letdown. You know, it's more of a surprise if Luton finish 19th this season than if you lot get top 2 even. If you lot win the league, it's more of a surprise for Luton to finish 19th than it is for you lot to win the league, in my opinion. So I just think, you know, losing 1-0 to Forest, I did hear that Chelsea might have been the better side, but it doesn't matter. You know, the money that, like we're saying, the money you have spent, you've got to do better. You have to. Next we move on to City Fulham. Obviously controversy in this Man City game with the Nathan Ake goal. I haven't actually watched it back to be able to comment too much on it, so I don't really want to go into it too much. But even still, you can have controversy or not. Fulham, you've got to put on more of a fight. You can't ship in 5. I know it's Man City, and I know they're so good, and I know Villa have done it before, where we shipped in 4 or 5 before half time. But you just have to, you know, you've got to do better against these teams. You know, it's always going to be a free hit in a way, but you know, you want the score to stay respectable. You know, damage limitations and all that. And Brighton, Newcastle. Now I have to say I was very, very disappointed in you guys in Newcastle. Brighton, Newcastle, I would say started the first 10 minutes okay. I think first 5 minutes I don't even think Brighton got out there. Newcastle were all over them for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then Brighton just found their rhythm, and Newcastle couldn't handle them. Newcastle, in hindsight, didn't even deserve their goal. They were terrible going forward. I thought Gordon and Almiron wasn't great. I thought they should have done a lot more out wide. I think Isaac had an okay game though. But yeah, disappointing in Newcastle there, to be honest. But we move on. It's football. Next up, we had Palace Wolves. I said 2-0 Palace, and it ended 3-2 Palace. Wolves found their scoring boots that day, clearly. Again, I haven't seen the highlights, so I don't know what the goals are like. But yeah, Palace, not far off really. They're a good side. They got good attacking talent, you know, and the way they're being coached, it seems to just work out well for them. So I'm quite impressed with Palace. Obviously, they got players like Eze who are unbelievable, who I don't think will be there this time next year, personally. But yeah. And then Liverpool Villa, the game I don't want to talk about. I said 2-2, and it ended 3-0. Now, again, a bit of controversy with this goal, with the first goal. I've seen, obviously, pundits and that saying that actually, similar to the Man City goal, supposedly, I assume, Salah was standing in the eyesight of Emi Martinez, and Salah was in the offside position. Now, obviously, I've not bothered to look back on it because I still think it was poor from Pau Torres to give away the corner in the first place. But I think there's that many bodies in the way anyway of Emi Martinez. I would say he sees it late anyway. I don't think he has a chance of saving it. But all round on the day, Villa were poor, terrible. There was no intent. They were shocking, and it was a very underwhelming performance. Liverpool looked good. Gave Trent a run and a mill in midfield. He was spreading passes left, right, and centre. Had a blinder of a game. Was definitely man of the match. But yeah, just not good enough from Villa. And then Arsenal United. Now this was a game that I watched snippets of it and it looked decent. Obviously Arsenal scoring 2 injury time winners. Declan Rice goal that we need to talk about. It's a great touch. It really is a brilliant touch. But there's no way you can leave a player like Declan Rice free on the back post from a corner. You know, it's not good enough really from United. You know, someone's got to be picking up those sort of players. And yeah, they got what they deserved and got punished for not picking up players like him. Now on to our points tally then. So we got 1 for Luton West Ham, 0 for Sheffield United, Everton and Brentford Bournemouth, 1 for Burnley Spurs, 0 for Chelsea Forest, 1 for City Fulham, Brighton Newcastle and Palace Wolves, 0 for Liverpool Villa and 1 for Arsenal v United. Takes our total points for this week to 6, which when you look at the weekly leaderboard, week 1 and 2 6 points, week 3 7, week 4 6. So still remains week 3 last week as our best week. But guys, if you enjoyed, please drop a like, comment down below how you guys think I got on and if you guys did any better. And I'll see you all in a bit.